The time is 10:54 p.m. I'm in my room. My name is Rose Golding. I'm 21 years old, and I'm making this video in case something's to happen to me. I went to a friend's house the other day and we found this board. I didn't know what the board was about. It just had it was a rectangular board, and it had yes and no on top of it, and they had, I think it was goodbye and the alphabets in like a semicircle, and it had like a specific design, and then it came with this like triangle semicircle ball with a circle in the middle. And I asked my friend like, what's this? Because he always like trying new stuff, and she's just there like, oh no, I found it at my grandmother's place. So I was wondering like, have you played it? And then she's like, no, she's not allowed to. And I was just wondering like, why not? And then she said, no, because apparently it's cursed. And she always says that as a threat or a challenge. So I was just there like, okay, so do you want to play it? And she's just there like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And I was just there like, why are you being a chicken all of a sudden? And then we decided to play it. And so at the back we flipped the board over and we saw it came with a bunch of rules. And the 3 rules are: 1, never play alone. So I was with my friend, and rule number 2 was never play in a cemetery, and rule number 3 was always say goodbye. And so before all of that, we just wanted to make sure things were safe, so we looked up her house, and there wasn't any deaths or any cemetery. So there was this rule where we put our hands on it, and we just spent like the same amount of time, the amount of time people were there. So we decided like, let's just talk to what did people say? They said like, is there any spirits out there? And then the board started moving itself, and we just thought like we were pranking each other like, oh no, stop doing that. But we carried on asking some questions, and then my friend asked like, okay, what's your name? And it started spelling out the letters like Jay, and then I'm just there like, okay, Mary, I think this is enough. And Mary kept going, and I'm just there like, okay, well, she was like, where are you, Mary? And it just moved back to the middle, and the chair in front of us automatically like pushed back, and we were just there like, oh my gosh, what was that? Automatically like Mary was gonna, I don't know, she was picking up the thing that was moving, and I told her no, let's just stop. So she actually listened to me and we stopped. So we said goodbye, and then we moved the board away, and we decided to watch like a comedy movie just to get over it. So after watching the movie, like, it was a girls' night, so I slept over. So I slept in the guest bedroom. So while I was asleep, I started hearing these weird noises. But I just thought, the house is old, so that's probably what it was. And then I got home the next day, and I noticed my door hinge wasn't working properly. So I was just like, when did this break? Because like no one was at my house. But I called the repair people the other day, and then I kept hearing these creaking noise. I didn't know what that was about because it was a new house, but you know how you just hear a random noise, so I just brushed it off. And then I get a phone call from Mary, and Mary was asking me like, is everything okay? And I'm just like, you mean Mary? And she was just there like, no, I just hear weird noises. Like, do you hear banging? And I'm just there like, no, Mary. I thought it was one of her pranks. I thought she was joking. But later that evening, I was on my laptop working, and then I just started hearing like this knocking noise, like as if someone was at my bedroom door. And I got out and I saw no one. So I decided like, okay, this is too weird for me, let me just go to bed. And then I went to bed, and then I had this weird dream where I was in a cemetery, and I was with another friend of mine, Gary, and while we were on the cemetery, it was like a trip or something. I don't know what we were doing there. And Gary decided that we should explore the cemetery, so we left, and then we saw this big like room house for family cemeteries, I think. And then Gary was like, let's put our hands inside, because it was pitch black, we couldn't see anything inside. And I was just like, Gary, that's not a good idea. But Gary carried on, and I wasn't a chicken, like no one knows me as a chicken, so I did it too. And then I put my hand in, and something just grabbed me, and I woke up that night, and I was just freaking out like, what the hell was that? Because it felt so real. And so I was able to go back to sleep, and when I woke up, I saw like this, I don't know if you can see it, but like I just saw, can you see? I don't know if you can see this, but like I saw this when I woke up, and I'm just there like, what the hell is this? And ever since that night, like weird stuff has been happening to me, like the lights keep flickering on and off. So I went to Mary's house the next day, and I went to check on her, to see how things are. And so when I went to her, she was also angsty, and she was just there like, are weird stuff happening to you too? And I'm just there like, yeah, I mean, what do you think it is? And then she was freaking out as well. So we called our other friend Gary and Michael to come and hang out with us for that night. And we decided that maybe they can play with the board game with us too. And we decided to play it again, so we did that thing, and we just started asking like what did we ask? We asked like, are you there? And do you, I don't know, like, are you visiting us? Did you send us a message? Were you knocking on our door? Like, because that was the only thing that popped up in our mind, and it just kept saying yes. And Gary and Michael was so scared, like they removed their hand without saying goodbye. So me and Mary were freaking out like, guys, no, you gotta put your hands back in. But they said no, and they were about to leave when they were about to leave, and then the door just automatically shut, like Mary's front door shut, and we were just wondering like, what is going on? And then when that happened, it freaked me and Mary out, so we accidentally lifted our hands too as we pushed our chair back, only for the board to continue moving itself. And it spelled like WHY DID YOU, remove your hands. And automatically we tried putting our hands back, but like it wouldn't let us, and we was just wondering, what did we just do? And Mary decided to ask again, like, where are you? And the same chair that pulled the other night pulled again. So I decided to grab the board, since Mary was afraid, and I looked through it, and I don't know what I saw. It was just looking at me in the eye and screamed, and I freaked out. So I dropped the board and I tried running out, and then for some reason the door unlocked, so I left and they all followed me. And now ever since that night, like, weird stuff keeps happening to me, like the lights keep flickering, and every day I keep waking up to scars and bruises on my mouth. Like this, I don't know if you can see, like, people say like, no, it's a scratch mark, but I never got scratched. I haven't dreamed or bumped into anything in so long, and I don't know, like, I've never had this. So then I looked up the board the other day, and they called it a Ouija board, and like how you shouldn't play with it because you are talking to stuff that are on the outside. And I'm not superstitious, like, I just found that as nonsense. And then I went to Mary's house, and me and Mary went to her grandmother since we found it there, and we asked her about it, and then that's when her grandmother told us that she played with it and how she's like in her head too, and she hears these voices and this scream, this exact scream, and I've been hearing the scream on how this crazy white yellowish wave, this whining scream, like, sound in my ear when I try to go to sleep. And it's like every time I'm going to sleep there's someone next to me because I feel someone touch my shoulder, and I haven't been able to sleep properly. I haven't been able to think properly, and every time I try to tell people the story they just think I'm crazy. But I don't know what, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do, and I just really need help right now because I don't know who to talk to, because I talk to my other friends and all, but they think I'm crazy. And I called Michael the other day, Michael and Gary, and Michael didn't answer my calls, and Gary was yelling at me, wondering like, why did you put me to this? And I'm just there like, what is happening to us right now? I don't know. I don't know what's happening, and I was wondering if anyone can help us. It's like, if you know what to do or how to handle the situation, can you please help us? Because right now we are very confused and lost, and why it keeps